Check, 1, 2, there it is. All right. All right, so this is wine glass modeling part 2, and we'll continue up the glass. So let's go ahead and go in here and make sure that your faces are selected on top. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and Control E. Again, that's your extrude. And we're going to move up, okay? And now we're going to scale. Now we're going to follow the outside of the glass. Okay, so this is what we got going on here. So we're just going to scale that out. So I'm going to go in here and just slowly go up, extrude. So you're going to see a lot of extrudes, Control E, and then move up and then scale out. Just following the outside, just like that. Again, Control E, move up, and scale out, and try to be uniform, like have the same amount of divisions. You can see that I'm not going too far up as I'm doing this. Just keep it nice and smooth. Control E, move it up, and scale it uniformly. Okay, and I'll continue going up the glass. And make sure you uniformly, that's the middle cube, that's uniform scaling. And just doing Control E, move, and scale. Okay. Control E, move, and scale. Make sure you move first and then scale after. Continue this process all the way up the glass. Probably fast forward this later, this part. Now if you do non-uniform, and that can mess you up a little bit, so you'll have to go back and probably redo it. But try not to do non-uniform scaling. When you get to the top, you kind of figure out where you need to stop. Okay. One thing I didn't do that I probably should have done while modeling this, if you're having a hard time following the background image, you can go to shading and click on X-ray. That allows you to see the actual object that you're actually trying to go against. It's been pretty easy so far following it, but if you had some issues, you could probably go back and add that X-ray. Okay, that'll help. All right, so now the top part, as you can see, we've got some ripples in here. I can go back and make those changes or take that piece out. Anyway, so we're going to go in here and make sure you select the top. If you have that deselected, you can go to the paintbrush and just paint those faces and just rotate around, make sure you don't have anything else selected. And now we're going to do the inside of the glass. Now that we're going to do the thickness on the inside of the glass, so do a Control E and scale the thickness of the glass. Okay. Now wine glasses are a little bit thinner than normal glassware, so don't make it too thick. Okay, so we'll keep it nice and thin. And so we're going to do the same thing all the way down. Okay, we got to do the same thing as we go down the glass. So basically I'll just follow what we have before as we go down. So I'm going to see where I'm at. I'm going to hit the W key and see if I, okay, so now I've got to extrude. So extrude, Control E, and then move that down. And we want to follow the inside of the glass. So go down and then follow the inside of the glass the same width. So you can see that. There we go. So now we've got the thickness of the glass right here. There's the thickness of the glass that we go all the way down. So Control E, move that down. We're following the same divisions we had before and scaling that, just following the outside of the glass. Control E and move that down and scale that out like that, and do that all the way down. Control E, W, and then R. Okay. Just continue down, Control E, W, and R. In that order. Control E, W, move that down, and then R. And you'll get faster and faster as we get along here. Forget about what's inside the glass here. There's a little bit of wine in there. We'll talk about that. So continue down and scaling as needed. Control E, W, and R. Control E, W, and R. You'll get really good at this. Eventually you won't even have to think about it. All right. It's important that you create an inside of the glass to give it depth, and because then the light will refract that more realistically than if you don't do it. Now, when glass is blown, it doesn't quite. It's not going to curve exactly, so there's going to be a little more glass residue at the bottom, so it tends to. So when I get closer, I pull it in a little farther, as you can see what I'm doing here, and that'll give us a nice look. Control E, W, move it down a little bit, and we're going to pull it in a little bit closer, like this, as we go down, because this part right here, okay, will be rounded right there. Okay, so I'm pretty much done. You can see that we don't go all the way down in there. Whoops, I messed up with, there we go. Let's go back here again. Let's go ahead and extrude that down and then scale uniformly. There we go. As I get closer to the bottom, I'm going to pull that in a little bit more. Control E. And this time I'm going to bring it all the way in. There we go, like that. So it rounds off. There we go at the bottom. There we go. That looks good. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go in there and hit the 3 key and kind of see what we got so far. I got a little bit of a ridge right there. But all in all, that looks pretty good from the side view. Let's take a look. Okay, looks good. And then if I turn off my object, you can see that it looks pretty good from the side view. There's a little ridge in here somewhere, and I'm going to get rid of that ridge right there. That's the bad part right there. So I'm going to take this edge. If I see something like that, what you probably want to do is just get rid of it. That edge that's causing trouble, or you can kind of finesse it, right? But I just get rid of it. Control, delete, we'll get rid of that. You can move that vertex up a little bit, okay? And shape it as needed. There we go. Get that nice and smooth. You want to keep it smooth, smooth, smooth. There we go. Smooth as you can. Okay, there we go. hit the 1 key. There you go. So just keep it smooth all the way up if you can. Alright, I'm going to turn that back on again. Glass. There we go. And you can keep messing with it if you want to. Scaling it. Alright, hit this 3 key again and see how that looks. There we go. Okay, there's your wine glass. Alright, so that's it for modeling part 2, and then you can add your shaders to it or get it to the scale that you need it. It's a little bit, what happens when you smooth something that low poly, it kind of comes in a little bit. So what you can do, if you want to, you can go back in here and select the edge loops and move them outwards, or leave it the way it is and scale it out. It's up to you how you want to do this. All right, so select the object and go back to this mode right here and make any changes that you need to make. I think I probably need to add some divisions here. I don't want to mess that up, so I'm going to bring that back down again. This edge loop right here, the one I made after the fact. Bring that back down and scale that back up, and then add an edge loop on the outside. There we go, like that. I need one more edge loop right there. So I'm going to go back in here and add an edge loop. Insert edge loop right here. Okay, so you can see where that is. And double click on it and move it down and shape it. Scale that up a little bit. There we go. Now, the more edge loops you have, the harder it is to get it from looking bumpy. If you start getting a bumpy glass, what you could do is you could delete every other one of these edge loops, shape it, and go with that. If you wanted to, you could do that. Here, I'll show you that solution real quick. So if you find that you got too many edge loops and it's really causing trouble, it's really bumpy and you can't get it smooth, then what you can do is you go every other one. So let's say from here we start out pretty good and then it starts falling apart. So let's go ahead and go every other one. Okay. Hit the Q key because it still wants to extrude. And that'll help out a little bit. Okay, let's leave the top 2 there. I'm going to go Control Delete. Okay, and then shape the glass and give it a trot, and then you can do the same thing inside of here if you want to. Is click on every other one. Okay, like that. If you want to keep it uniform, and then remember you got to hit Control Delete, otherwise you're going to leave vertices. Now this will be a little nicer if you do something like that, because then you can shape it and the edge loops aren't so close together that when I hit the 3 key it becomes a little smoother. It's a little easier to manage. Okay, so if that happens to you, delete the edge loops every other one and then give it a try and see if that's a better result. Of course, that's up to you. And then hit the 1 key again. What we want to do when we're done modeling, go to Edit, Delete by Type History, modify freeze transformations, and modify center pivot. So you want to make sure everything is set up. Now all the history is gone, so it should be easy to manage. So there's our wine glass.